This is Nick Courage. I'm the author of Stormblown and Snowstruck, and today I made New York-style bagels with my mom. Do you want to say hi?
Hi.
So here I am with a yeast mixture, and I'm pouring it into the flour, a little flour and salt, a little warm water into the mix. Make the yeast happy. Starting to mix it up with this recipe, which is from Sophisticated Gourmet, and I'll link to the recipe down in the description. It's kind of hard to know how much water to put in, so you just put a little bit of warm water every few seconds until the dough starts to form sort of a rough mixture, which you can see here. And I'm kneading it. This is the hardest part about making bagels, is kneading it. You have to knead it for 10 minutes, which doesn't sound like a lot, but after about 3 minutes, you feel like 10 minutes is up. And this is where my mom kind of tapped out for a while on the front porch while I kneaded the dough. You knead the dough so that you help the gluten form, which makes the dough sort of rise better. If you don't knead it enough, the bagels are going to end up flat and stodgy. Here I am with my kneaded dough. I'm about to put it in the bowl, an oiled bowl so it doesn't stick. Sit and let it rise under a damp towel for about an hour. Oh, an hour passed real quick in this video. Here's the dough. I'm going to cut it into 6 because I like big bagels. The recipe says 8, but I like a really big New York style bagel. When I make my dough balls, I make them pretty rough. They don't have to be perfect, at least not in my kitchen. So here are rough dough balls. Now, because I cut out triangular wedges and then kind of very roughly form them into balls, my bagels do sometimes turn out a little triangular.
Heart-shaped.
Heart-shaped. So when you make a hole in a bagel, you just stick your finger in the flour so the dough doesn't stick to it, and then kind of wiggle it through the center, like you're putting on a really big doughy ring. So here I am making my bagels. They're starting to look a lot more like bagels than they were about 20 seconds ago. I think my mom was still out on the porch for this part. Oh no, you were videoing it. Okay, my mom was the videographer for this part. Okay, looking pretty good. And then I'm gonna let them sit under a damp towel again, just for about 10 minutes, just to let them rise a little bit. They're looking good. I wanna make sure that there's a clear, distinct hole in the bagel. And then you boil them. For a New York style bagel, you boil for about 2 minutes per side. There are a lot of bagel shops outside of New York that don't actually boil their bagels. And this is my hot take, those aren't bagels if they're not boiled. So boiling the bagels just makes them a lot chewier and gives them a look on the outside, a crust that looks a little bit like chicken skin. Here I am painting an egg wash on the boiled bagels just so that the toppings will stick to them. And the egg wash also makes the bagels turn out a little golden brown in the oven. So we're going for poppy seeds and sesame seeds. And I put a lot of poppy seeds on my bagels. Looking good. The fun thing about the bagels after you boil them is that they feel really spongy and weird. Like they're not quite baked, but they're definitely not raw either. And you can see that it's risen quite a bit. They're pretty tall after you boil them. These are after the bake. They only bake for about 20 minutes till golden brown. Looks nice on the bottom. And there's my plate of bagels. Big, kind of chewy, chunky New York style bagels. There's Murray the cat, looking curious. There's my mom in a cameo. Delicious. that's it. If you want to make New York style bagels, they're actually pretty easy. The hardest part is just kneading them.